What's happening, guys? Welcome to Full Time Live. Manchester United have won at Anfield, beating Liverpool 2-1. Troy Deeney, Match of the Day pundit, joins me, as does our football tactics correspondent, Umir Irfan. Troy, let's just get your immediate reactions to that. That's a huge win for United, isn't it?
Yeah, massive. Obviously, they haven't won back-to-back games in a long time as well. So I think it was something like 11 years or something they haven't won at Anfield.
It's 2016, mate. It's Rooney scored the winner.
Oh, Rooney scored. Yeah, either way, it's been a long time.
He's got a podcast with us now, so that's how
it's probably that way you got to do it. Yeah, but no, it's been again. It was a weird game. We were talking in there. It was Man U started really well, obviously, but then as it developed, it just felt like it was all Liverpool and the changes. We thought that Fernandes would probably have come off just as the goal came and the equaliser came in. But he stayed on and managed to end up getting that assist for Harry Maguire. And at that moment, I could only ever see Liverpool winning with that last 10 minutes or so. And then Man United step up. So that would be great for Amorim and his confidence, for the team and their belief. And, we all get to question Liverpool now. And there's going to be loads of questions about that.
Just depending on that one goal, your whole narrative changed for the weekend at the news cycle.
Absolutely. But it was a great game. Normally those kind of games we build up a drabs, aren't they? And we'll have to kind of force ourselves to like it. But it was a real good game of football.
Yeah, we're a bit worried that we were going to get you on the sofa. It's going to be 0-0 in the end. But
no, I don't worry. I can make it 0-0 sound really good. That's why they pay me the low bucks.
Harry Maguire with the winner. Mm-hmm. For Amorim, how important is that for his season especially?
I mean, look, and I think Amorim has spoken about how his style, he's unwavering from it. Mm-hmm. Interestingly, actually, I think this game and the last game looked to be, that general style, but slightly different. We'll talk about that probably in a bit. But I think when you get a game like that, it can change the momentum of your season because you get the belief of the players. I think he had a quote recently where he spoke about how the players are reading things in the media and they're almost buying into the fact that the media are questioning his system. Mm-hmm. So even if that's true, you basically got a moment there where you go away to one of the hardest leagues or one of the hardest stadiums in the league, and you can really push on from that, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just to dovetail on that as well, players will always look for excuses. That's what they do. And those back-to-back wins now I think he's had to adapt his style a little bit. And I mean, he's not going to change from the formation, but he is going to tweak. They'll go to a flat five when they're defending. I'm sure you're.
I think it's weird that people talk about like sort of style and formation as the same thing when obviously you can keep the same shape. Of
course.
But I think obviously the way that they're playing that shape has differed in the last couple of games versus
and they'll tweak it accordingly. I think once he gets the players he wants, I think the obvious bit for us at the moment is the two fullback or wing back areas and the 2 6s are the bits where it's just like just the player profile is right for what he wants to do. Yeah. But at the moment, just keep going on, trying to build the culture, trying to get everyone to be on side. And obviously, if they can stick wins together like they are now, then they're going to be a real attractive force. They are still Man United. Let's call it as it is. You still
got to play like Mbeumo as good as he is.
Yeah, they still want to come and sign for you. But when you're now creeping into the top half come January, and then you're pushing for Europe, I think it'll be really attractive for a lot of teams.
Let's take you back to the first goal, because Gareth in the chat on YouTube, guys, if you're watching on YouTube, get your questions in. We'll try and get them to Troy and Umir.
Be nice.
Well, he said that first goal should never have stood, given there was a head injury to McAllister. Troy, talk us through it, because
what are we talking about?
You were a fan of the water polo cup as well, weren't you?
The hat thing was, Anyway, first and foremost, it's Virgil van Dijk that elbows him, right? So it's his own player. If he's down for 10, 15, 20 seconds, referee has to come back. It's in the middle of a counter-attacking action. And I think the problem that's happened now with the rules is that everyone goes down now holding their face, even if it's their ankle. So the refs are in a real difficult situation where they have to try and stop everything. There's nothing wrong with that. And if any Liverpool fan is saying that that's the reason why they lost the game or that goal shouldn't have stood, just watch it. Watch us later on tonight because I'm going to show you why it's not that. But I love Virgil van Dijk. There's something going on that left-hand side between him and Kirkers because Mbeumo, who's on the floor, gets up, runs past Virgil, and he's the one who scores. So if you're worrying about that head injury, then I think you need to have a little look more deep and probably have a little look in the mirror. But if we're going to do it properly, that hat's not allowed as well.
You wouldn't be rocking one of them?
It's powerful.
Mate, he's gone full Petr Cech for an elbow at the head.
My question is, like, what's the function of the hat?
No,
Like, he's not bleeding. He's not cut.
no,
Is it protecting him?
Even if
'Cause
he
he's-
was, get a bit of Vaseline on there, crack on. I'm nearly bald anyway. When I am, I'll show you all the ones I've got on the back of my head.
You don't want a skull
stitch
cap?
up, crack on. Like, it's the one you can show everyone. Like at the end of the game, do you know what I mean? Look at that. I scored. Look how hard I am. Put a swimming cap on. Grow up.
Maybe it's for aerodynamics and speed. Do you know what I mean?
Right, it didn't work, did it? He ended up on the bench, so you're better than that, McAllister.
I mean, talk us through Amorim's system then. You said
Yeah.
there's a difference between style and system. So where were the tweaks for you today? What did you see?
Like, look, you look at the team sheet, you look at the formation, you look at the players, generally almost the same as what we've seen throughout the season. I think the big change was Sesko not playing, Mount, Cunha and Mbeumo playing. And I actually like that, how it played out throughout the game. I think the first thing is, obviously, United are playing long and have played long for the last couple of games, especially with Lamens coming in. It kind of suits his game a little bit more. And Sesko not playing didn't change their intent to go long. They didn't win all of the first balls, but what they did really well was crowd around that, and they won the second balls better than perhaps they might have with Sesko in there. And obviously the first goal, that situation arises from kind of picking up that second ball from the initial long ball. I think the big difference in sort of the system, despite the shape being the same, was kind of what they did off the ball. So instead of defending in that kind of 5-2-3 shape that we've seen, where they push really high and leave space around, we saw it a little bit in the first half, but as the game progressed, they certainly moved into this 5-4-1, sat in deep, and Liverpool's attackers, their best attackers, Isak and Salah, on paper, like to attack space in behind. Trent is a big miss in my opinion, because he's somebody who finds those players in behind. Now United basically said, look, we'll sit deep, you have the ball and try and break us down. They're not switching play enough, Liverpool, and there's not enough space for players to attack in behind. So how do you unlock them in front of them? That was kind of the picture of the game.
I think as well that right-hand side was the first time we've really seen it up to speed and go well, with Ahmad on the right and Mbeumo both being able to run and carry the ball. And they exposed, obviously, Van Dijk and Kirk, as we alluded to earlier. So for me, I think that's how he wants that to look in terms of player profile, you know, being able to go forward but defend, athletic, mobile, and being able to carry the ball 20, 30 yards up the pitch.
Yeah. Because that first half, if United went in 3-0 up, I don't think we'd have been shocked, would we? They had chances.
I would say, just to bounce off that, though, Gakpo hit the post about 4 times as well. I think both teams had big chances, but United attacked in a dangerous way more than I think most teams would have expected them to do.
And no one's going to talk about it, but you know that Fernandes chance in the first half, just after they scored, it hits the post. If Liverpool got to win that, that's a massive moment in the game. Yeah. Because it feels like Man United could have really kicked on and went 2 or 3 up in that first half. So it was a game that swung from both ends. But I think on the whole, Liverpool will have way more questions, and Man United could gain so much, not just from the win, but from the performance, everyone digging in, and then even the guys coming off the bench. I really like when a team scores and you see how the bench reacts. And when Maguire scored, the 3 lads who were going to be coming on, if it was Maino, Yoro, and I can't remember who the other one was, they're all in there diving together with their team. That to me shows togetherness, that without making it about the people that left, but the people that are left, they wouldn't be doing that. They'd be sulking that they weren't playing. Do you get what I mean?
So we've had Harry Maguire speak to Sky afterwards, and he said, in this club, it will mean a lot this week, and then we have Brighton at home next week, so we have to remain calm-headed. Do you agree with that, Troy? And also, Troy, if you were in that changing room now, how do you speak to your teammates, the manager as well, about keeping that consistency up? Because that's the number one thing that hasn't happened with this United team.
No, but they need to enjoy it. I can't stand when people start talking about the next game within 20 minutes after this game. Like, you haven't won back-to-back games in such a long time. Enjoy tonight.
And it's not like it's any team, by the way.
Exactly. You just beat the champions at Anfield. Like, go, enjoy tonight, have a meal, have a few beers if you want to, do whatever it is you got to do. But tomorrow, we're going to come back and we're going to get at it and we're going to figure it out. And then, so that, I understand now everyone's PR savvy and trying to make sure to say the right things. Yeah. But actually, do you know what? We've come under a lot of stick. If it was me as Maguire, but we've come under a lot of stick, me personally. So this feels great now. We're going to enjoy it, and then we're going to deal with whatever we need to deal with tomorrow. Yeah. That's what I want to hear. I don't want to hear about Brighton coming up and we need to be on the ground. Why? Enjoy it today.
Do you think there's a aspect of when everyone's kind of going against you, everyone's talking about your team falling off?
100%.
You can kind of use that to almost.
But here's a question, and they're Brighton at home next week, aren't they? So are they our favourites to win that game?
I don't know. I think we've seen it under Amorim before where their best performances have come against some of the best teams.
Yeah,
So
when they don't have the ball.
Exactly.
Well,
Yeah.
if I take you to last season, Man United drew 2-2 at Anfield.
Yeah.
Everyone thought they had turned the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, again, they went back to being really poor after that.
Yeah.
So, I
There's
suppose
still
the question,
loads
do
to
they
do.
only get up for the big games?
No, I think it's easy. I think it's, again, more in your space, so sorry for talking about this, but I think it's like... It's
I'll always take a Troy Deeney tactical analysis.
I think it's more tactical though, isn't it? When they
Yeah.
don't have the ball and they can sit in and counter attack and use the legs that they do have in the forward areas with the space, and obviously be a lot better in set pieces. I think that plays into Man United's hands. When you look against Brighton will probably sit in a little bit more and allow Man United to have the ball.
Yeah.
This is where I think they need to get better. It's learning how to break through the lines, go from one side of the pitch to the other, because when they go into, I don't know, Mbeumo or into Cunha, it's very much give it to those guys, stand back and watch.
Yeah.
Like, it needs to be a little bit more progressive, in my opinion. And once they get that going, then they can obviously mix it up.
Well, I think more than anything as well, like when they do come against sides who are perhaps not as sort of, expected to dominate games, they do, United as a team of their stature, have to kind of come out and play a little bit more. And when they do press, I think their biggest issues come from that very disjointed press. I think against a team like Liverpool or against a team like Arsenal or Manchester City, fans and people around the world generally are accepting that if United sit in against that quality, it's
that's
fine.
okay, yeah.
But United have the stature where they need to kind of come out and push high and impose their quality against a team like Brighton, no disrespect to them. And when they do that, that's when the spaces open up for them to kind of concede chances. So I think next week is almost the challenge that Amorim has struggled with more so than the challenge that he's faced today, even if Liverpool have been as good as
He'd
they are.
arguably prefer to have a Manchester derby now.
Yeah.
They prefer to have a Man City away.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? To go into next, but this is where I always challenge like characters. So who's the people now that after you've enjoyed today, but when you go back in tomorrow, who's the one go right back at it, do it again? The guys who didn't play when you're out training, make sure you're at it now, because they'll all want to. You'll start to see this weird thing that happens. Like people like 2 weeks ago that were questioning the manager and like half like 10% off it and just getting around. And once he goes, I'll step up. They're the ones now that start to come over to the good side. I'm like, oh my God, I need to train right. I need to do this. I want to know how many of those have come over now and are really pushing. So it'll be interesting, but enjoy it, man. It doesn't happen too often for Man United, so enjoy it.
Troy, we're going to get some of this tactical analysis later at 10:30 on Match of the Day on BBC One and BBC iPlayer.
Was that it?
No.
Oh, I thought it was
So I was going to get you to give us a flavour.
Oh, sorry.
I
I was ready to go home. I was like, yeah. Sweet, yeah.
Getting Nando's in.
I'm waiting on my food, yeah. But no, sorry, please. Carry on.
Well, before you get your Nando's in, give us a bit of a flavour of what you're going to be talking about on Match of the Day later.
We've got the legend that is Mark Chapman. We've got the legend that is Shay Given, who was in really, really good form. Again, I'm a Birmingham City fan, and seeing him celebrate at Aston Villa was winding me up. But you have to say that second goal was fantastic. We're going to break down the goal, break down what's happening with Spurs and the challenges that Thomas Frank faces. And then we're going to get into, obviously, the big game tonight. Man United, loads of positives. What's going on with Liverpool? Do they need to decide who's the main man, yes or no? And find out at 10:30.
10:30, BBC
Make
One,
sure
BBC
you're there.
iPlayer.
Make sure you're there.
Guys, you can also watch all of the goals from this Premier League weekend too from 8 p.m. on the BBC Sport website and app, so keep across that. Moves us on nicely to Liverpool.
Yeah.
Like you just said, we've had a question in the chat from Gary. He wants to know, 4 losses in a row, surely Slot is under pressure after spending 450 million in the transfer window.
Is that a serious question?
It's in the chat.
Honestly.
Yeah,
You start. God.
Players need time to gel.
No, it's not even that. It's like they just won the league, man.
Yeah.
They lose 4 games, like he's under pressure. He spent 400 million, but what's the net spend? What did they spend last year?
I think didn't sell about 8 players as well.
Yeah, but it's like this is a part of the remodel or rebuild, and people don't like to hear it unless it's Arsenal, because then you get 5 years and then it's all right. But everybody else gets 2.5 minutes. But you've got now, and we're going to talk about it in detail later, you've got Salah, who is the main man of Liverpool. You've got Frimpong, who was the main man. You've got Isak, who was the main man. You've got Ekitike, who is the main man. You've got Wirtz, who's the main man. You've got Gakpo, who now wants to be the main man. So what happens is there are loads of egos and loads of people trying to slot into a puzzle, And it doesn't work that easily. They have to make a decision now. Right, what are we going to do? Are we looking beyond when Mo Salah leaves? Are we going to start doing the transition now? Or are we going to say, actually, we didn't really recruit properly, so we have to change our formation in season?
But do you not think that should bring about with it its own pressure that you have recruited, and I assume Slot's had some input in who he's brought in?
But again, this is the weird thing. And I love media, but I can't stand it at the same time.
Yeah.
Last year, who mentioned anything about how many players they brought in?
Yeah.
Who mentioned anything about the squad? No one, because they were winning. So literally,
they didn't sign many.
No, they signed one. They signed Chiesa.
Yeah.
That's it. So they always were going to spend. It's just a case of what they were looking for. Obviously, they lose Trent. That's very difficult to replace. In my opinion, Frimpong gives you just as much going forward. The only thing he doesn't give you is that pass, and nobody's going to do that. It's like trying to get another David Beckham.
Yeah.
You can't do that. Kirkez has struggled since he's come in. Konate's been poor this season. Again, Alisson's injured. By the way, everyone else is allowed injuries. Liverpool aren't allowed injuries. I feel like I'm a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, so do I.
Like defending them.
You are defending them a lot.
But it is like Isak came in with no pre-season.
Yeah.
He's had 2 starts now, is it? Yeah, 2 starts.
Well, I think Slot said now he's fit. So judging from now.
But he's fit. He's not match fit.
Yeah.
And this is what people don't understand as well. When you do a 6-week pre-season, you're fit. It takes you 3 or 4 games to get match fit. But everyone goes, oh, he's fit now. He should be scoring.
Yeah.
But if he's had an international break as well, he has been.
He plays for Sweden.
Again,
He plays for Sweden.
Who lost games that they should have won.
He plays for Sweden. He's not playing the same team. He ain't got Salah on the wing, has he? He's got Alanga. It's completely different.
Fair.
It's true though, isn't it? It's completely different.
So for Liverpool today, what does it say if their best player on the pitch, attacking player, is Cody Gakpo? You know, hits the post 3 times, scores.
Yeah.
Like, if you're the rest of that attacking line though, surely Slot's turning around and being like, guys.
Well, I think it's about. I think with any player, when you bring them in, you need to get them in the situations where they've shown that they've been successful in, and like the scenario and circumstances around that has to suit them. I think Trent is such a big loss and bigger than what they perhaps anticipated, because he's, and I mentioned it a little bit before, he's somebody who could get Salah in positions that he wanted to attack in. Isak is somebody, if you go back and watch the Newcastle games, was often running in behind, and Newcastle were attacking quite quickly. You know, they've got players like Anthony Elanga themselves, very industrial midfield behind him to kind of release Isak quickly.
Anthony Gordon last year, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so all of those players facilitate Isak's game. Now, you've got players who aren't necessarily in their best zones given how Liverpool play. I think Gakpo off that left side can cut inside, and the reason he's getting so many chances is because he can generally do that when teams are sitting in. Ekitike looks good because from that central forward position, he can drop in and link play, and you can do that because the space is deeper. Isak in the box, crowded out, can't necessarily affect the game as much. Salah with players trying to overlap and trying to crowd his zone, again, can't influence the game as much. So
also, we can say this bit. Salah's been poor.
Yeah, but I think that's because...
I know we're not allowed to say negatively about Salah, but Salah has been poor.
Yeah, but I think that's
missed
because
massive chances this week.
Yeah,
massive chances against Chelsea.
Yeah.
But no one speaks about it.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to talk about Salah, but it's like, look, he's been great, but also there's moments where people aren't playing well. If I was Isak, I'd be saying, hold on a second, he's played every minute of every game, and he's not playing well. Let me get my rhythm. Let me get in. Let me get those chances. There was a chance where Frimpong whipped one in at 1-1, cross the 6-yard box. I'm telling you, if Isak's on the pitch, that's where he is. That's where he goes. But you've got to start building up the connections as well. Also, last year, the midfield three was very, very good, right? So Boswell has played more time at right back than he has in the middle. McAllister's now got a hat on to wear. And Gravenberch has been injured a lot as well. So, again, all things went perfectly well for them last year. And now it's not, and they're trying to get people up to speed, and they should really be winning those games. If you break down, they should be winning these types of games. They didn't, but also they can look back and go, okay, I think it's more of an ego thing now than actually a quality thing, because they hit the post 3 times.
Well, it could have been very different. It could have been very different.
Misses the header as well from 4 yards out. So there's a lot of chances that they created. If they score and they've got a moment in games change it, don't they?
Against Chelsea again, Salah had a big chance as well.
Exactly.
But I'm
glad I got you to say something negative against Salah, don't worry.
I will say that I think the chemistry point is like one of the strongest points, because Trent and Salah, like how many, 7? It must have been 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
I think Klopp was able to get so much good out of Liverpool because as much as his tactics were impressive, it was the connection between the players
course.
that bears fruit on the pitch.
Also, you got to remember there was a group of players who were still there that were used to when we turn the ball over, go 1,000 miles an hour, and now Arnie starts saying, "Yeah, I want you to go, but just kind of go with the handbrake on."
Yeah.
And it's just so comfortable. We see it with Man United players. If you remember Brentford game with Harry Maguire when he wanted to drop back and defend, it's his natural instinct. And then he went, "Oh no, that's wrong." Went forward and it ends up being a goal.
Isn't it?
Yeah. And I think that's where you're finding a lot of Liverpool players at the moment. Someone's going, "Let's go forward, let's go fast," and someone go, "Let's control it." And it's just disjointed at this moment in time.
Well, moves us on nicely to, is it Juanman75 on YouTube in the chat? So is this just a few teething problems at Liverpool with the new players coming in, or is it a sign of deeper issues?
I would say, I think if you look at Arne Slot's side when he managed Feyenoord, it looked a little bit more like this season's Liverpool rather than last season's Liverpool in terms of more rotations, committing more bodies up front, and then I think some of the frailties that they've seen this season in terms of how much they're conceding on the counter-attack and perhaps kind of the spaces that the players are needing to cover in general, I think those are systematic because it's in line with sort of that Dutch model of football. We saw a little bit with Ten Hag, and I'm not saying obviously that they're massively similar, but those kind of things are, I think, Arne Slot related. I think a lot of the things are just players needing to be platformed properly and needing time to gel with each other as well. But I think my big question would be, can you reduce those rotations a little bit, be slightly more secure like you were last season, and then still get the best out of your current signings? I think Wirtz is somebody who likes to rotate and roam a lot. I think Isak is somebody who you kind of have to play given his fee, but I think Ekitike has been more impressive this season as well. And then obviously you want Salah still playing as well. So you don't agree with the Ekitike one?
Just listening.
Yeah, so I think you've got two aspects there.
Yeah, I disagree with a lot of what you said there. But what I actually think is when you talk about teething problems, again, Ekitike came in early, had a pre-season, started scoring. I actually think if you see when he came on today, the first thing he does is comes in off that left-hand side onto his right foot. The simple passes go to Wirtz, who then can play to Salah, and Salah's 1v1. He gets his shot off because he's now started to believe the hype that he is that person. And again, you have to, as a striker, have that level of arrogance to be like, I'm the man. But there's also moments when it's like, that's the better option.
Yeah.
And I think at this moment in time, a lot of those players I alluded to earlier have all been, they could, like Isak can shoot, miss 10 times for Newcastle and no one says anything.
Yeah.
Same with Wirtz, he can misplace 10 passes, no one says anything. Now you're under so much scrutiny because you came in when the bar was here.
Yeah.
Everyone, including myself, was talking about Liverpool now not only winning the Premier League but going for the Champions League. And now it's not really working, and it's like, hold on a second, this had part of the script. So who's going to pull it together? So I think there's a lot of them that need to have a look at themselves, and it will have to start with a big man in Virgil van Dijk.
Oh, I think that's a solid place to leave it. Troy, Amir, thank you so much, guys. Match of the day, 10:30 tonight, BBC One and BBC iPlayer. Let's let these guys go get their Nando's finally.